Hello everyone, my name is Katiana Antoine, and today I'm going to be talking about literacy as a form of resistance. And we've been talking about literacy all semester long as we've discussed and read different slave narratives. But today I want to talk about literacy using a quote by a gentleman named Carl Sagan, who says that Frederick Douglass taught that literacy is a path from slavery to freedom. There are many kinds of slavery and many kinds of freedom. However, reading is still the path. Now, what this quote does is that it brings into perspective that there are many forms of slavery. For example, the slaves encountered physical slavery in which they were bound to beatings and brutalities of different sorts. And they also encountered mental slavery by which they were psychologically oppressed. And even on a micro level, we can take a look at Douglass, for example, who found himself bound from being able to be the man that he wanted to be. But no matter how we look at it, literacy is absolutely relevant. Why? Because literacy meant enlightenment, and enlightenment ultimately meant liberation. All right, and now we're going to talk about how literacy actually works as a freedom agent. And so we'll look at Frederick Douglass, who himself, he became literate. And I actually pulled out a couple of quotes from chapter 10 of Douglass's narrative to convey this point. And the first quote is A, slavery is horrible. And what this does is it kind of shows an awareness about the truth regarding slavery. The next quote is B, those sailing ships are free. And that kind of shows an epiphany about what freedom really is. And then C, I want to be free too. And this is the idea of resistance. And then there's D, how can I become free? And this last quote actually conveys a move to resist. So we've had the discussion in class about whether or not the Bible actually helped slaves escape to freedom. Now, in the next couple of minutes, we'll be watching a video that discusses
Slavery has
just
become a
that.
hot button issue in today's culture. Oftentimes critics of the Bible come to a Christian and they bring up the issue of slavery in an attempt to discredit the Bible. But here's the crux of the issue. When the Bible talks about slavery under the Mosaic Law in the time of Moses, leading up to the time of Christ and that sort of thing, was that slavery the same as harsh slavery? The answer is a resounding no. Fact is, it was completely different. And I want to read you a passage here in Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. He who kidnaps a man, whether he sells him or is found in his possession, shall surely be put to death. Now that's a pretty serious judgment on someone who is a slave trader who goes out and kidnaps people and takes them into the slave trade to be sold as a slave. Now, why would Moses bring up something like this? Well, what it is, Moses is trying to distinguish between harsh slavery and the slavery that was going to undergo at the time of the Israelites.
Okay, so I really hope the video helped. Now, whether it was being able to read the Bible or anything in general, literacy was such a threat to slave owners and white
Excerpt
supremacists
from Virginia
that laws were
Revised
actually
Code
enacted
of
to keep the slave from
1819.
becoming literate.
That all meetings or assemblages of slaves, or free Negroes or mulattoes mixing and associating with such slaves at any meeting house or houses, in the night, or at any school or schools, for teaching them reading or writing, either in the day or night, under whatsoever pretext, shall be deemed and considered an unlawful assembly, and any justice of a county wherein such assemblage shall be, either from his own knowledge or the information of others, of such unlawful assemblage, may issue his warrant, directed to any sworn officer or officers, authorizing him or them to enter the house or houses where such unlawful assemblages may be, for the purpose of apprehending or dispersing such slaves, and to inflict corporal punishment on the offender or offenders at the discretion of any justice of the peace, not exceeding 20 lashes.